Third POV. The group continued on to the next battle, choosing to ignore May playing the video before consent, their own curiosity over the two fighters quite apparent. Every generation has idolized a sci-fi or fantasy hero. Wiz began the video. Today we pit the two of the most famous of these heroic protagonists against each other. The heroes and students smiled that the next two fighters were also heroes. The students agreed with Wiz about idolizing heroes, though for them it less fictional and very real. Luke Skywalker, Legacy of the Jedi. Boomstick announced the first fighter. And Harry Potter, The Boy Who Lived. Wiz announced the second fighter. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick. Boomstick introduced themselves. And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Wiz ended the intro. The first combatant shown was an average-looking boy in his late teens or early adulthood. He had blue eyes, short blonde hair, and was shown in multiple outfits ranging from plain white robes/clothes, a gray outfit, and most notably a black combat outfit. The boy looked unextraordinary at first, but the girls thought that he looked a little cute. A certain group girls reminding themselves it was okay to acknowledge he was as long as they remembered where their hearts lay. The video also played loud and triumphant music that filled the members of the audience with awe and energy. "Whoa!" Kaminari voiced out. "This music sounds awesome." "For once you're right, Kaminari," Jera said. "The music just radiates victory and hope. Just look at the two kiddos. They look to see Eri and Kuta awing wide-eyed and excited. Although it's a little loud in my opinion." Luke Skywalker. As the orphan son of Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker carries the blood of the most powerful Sith Lord ever known. Wiz revealed. "What?" The audience cried out in alarm and shock. "Wait. His father was that scary Vader guy from the first video?" Urarika questioned, eyes widening in terror at the sight of the Dark Lord of the Sith. "Boy, that must have been a shock to him." Boomstick said the obvious. "No, I am your father," Darth Vader revealed, his robotic voice sending chills down the audience's spines. "No, that can't be true. That's impossible," Luke yelled in growing horror. "Search your feelings, you know it to be true," Vader said. "No, Luke cried out. "Oh yeah, it was," Boomstick joked. The heroes and students felt pity for the young Jedi, understanding that it would be earth-shatteringly horrible to learn your father was a villain. The group also involuntarily shivered at the very dark aura and presence that the black-cloaked Sith exuded. All Might, Gran Torino, Endeavor, and the rest of the heroes here that were present during the Kamino incident felt this very same aura when they faced against All for One. Eri and Kuta squirmed in fear and clung onto Izuku and Mirio. Izuku felt a chill roll up his spine for some unknown reason, and a voice call out in his mind. "I'm sorry, Eni." Izuku shook his head, eyes wide in alarm and confusion. "What was that?" Izuku thought, confused. Was that the vestiges again? Was that voice the first? Izuku shook off the event and continued with the video. Background. Height, 5 feet 7 inches. Weight, 169 pounds. Raised as a farmer. Prosthetic right hand. Son of Anakin Skywalker, the Chosen One. Twin brother of Leia Organa. Married to Mara Jade. He was raised by his aunt and uncle, who kept him safe by disguising his true powers and heritage. Wiz explained. Luke, to the galaxy at large, was a nobody from a backwater desert planet, but wished and dreamed for a life out in the stars with significance. Izuku frowned sadly, sympathizing and knowing full well of being a nobody, with great, seemingly unreachable dreams. He would have his wish granted in the most unexpected way. Wiz said grimly. The video showed Luke looking in sadness at the burned, charred skeletons of his dead aunt and uncle. The students gasped in horror at the sight, Izuku and Mirio shielding Kuta and Eri immediately from the horrid sight. "Oh no!" Melissa cried out. "Who would do such a horrible thing?" The heroes frowned and gritted their teeth at the act. Endeavor growled in rage, especially enraged at the act after recently investigating a series of burnt bodies charred in blue flames. The culprit none other than the League of Villain member Dobby. All Might gritted his teeth and gripped his armrest hard in anger. Yet turns out the evil empire was looking for a pair of droids and Luke's folks just so happened to have bought them, leading to Luke's aunt and uncle to be torched alive and Luke left alone. Boomstick explained. "That's horrible," Nijire yelled out. "Those meanies need to pay." "I'm sure they did," Amajiki consoled the periwinkle-haired girl. Luke would find his calling by being trained by a wise old mentor in the ways of the Force and become a Jedi, magical warriors tasked with keeping peace throughout the galaxy, was said. He would later join the rebellion to fight against the tyranny of the Empire. "I assume that these Jedi are the heroes of this universe?" Momo questioned. "Most likely," Todoroki said. "Warriors tasked with keeping peace sounds like a hero thing to do. And like all Jedi, Luke uses one of the most badass weapons known to man." Boomstick teased. "Lightsaber. Custom built. Approximately 4-foot blade. Cuts through most objects. Based on Kenobi's saber. Expends no heat or energy until physical contact. Uses Form V Jimso. Previously used Anakin's lightsaber. Luke's weapon of choice is the lightsaber, a combination of two of my two favorite killing tools, swords and lasers," Boomstick revealed. The video showed Luke catching a short metal handle before igniting a green blade of energy. Other images showed Luke also using one whose blade was colored blue. Eyes went wide one after another in shock and awe of the legendary weapon. May's and Melissa's mouth watered at the sight and mentally dissected the weapon in her mind. Power Loader and David Shield too were in awe of the weapon, their brains not comprehending how light was formed into a solid, frozen shape. Despite having little formal training, Luke advanced in lightsaber combat much faster than any other Jedi, Wiz explained. Though he was still taught the basics by Kenobi, trained by Creel in greater detail, and Yoda through physical training, with a bit of self-training along the way. It would appear that this Luke Skywalker is a true prodigy among the other Jedi, Okoyami said. "And is that Yoda?" Mina asked, pointing to the green, large-eared old alien in brown robes. "He looks like an old alien grandpa." He even took down a freaking TIE fighter with his dad's old lightsaber, only a month after he blew up the freaking Death Star, Boomstick pointed out. "What a badass." The video showed Luke in an X-wing firing two purple orbs of energy at a small exhaust port and flying away as the moon-sized superweapon exploded into pieces. "That's so cool," Izuku yelled, eyes wide in awe. Luke is a master of lightsaber combat Form V. Jimso, an aggressive combat stance with defensive posture, was said. This form specializes in perseverance and pressing an opponent. "Interesting," Mizu said. This form of combat seems to function by both attacking and provoking his opponent to fight back, only to switch easily to a defensive form. "And impressive style, I will admit," Eraserhead said. "Works to tire out his opponent so to land a killing blow." Despite what you might think, the lightsaber isn't just for killing, Boomstick revealed. It also works pretty damn well for defense, being able to block and deflect laser blaster fire. "Hold on a moment," Momo said. "If those are actual lasers being fired on him, then Luke would have to react faster than light to not only block but angle the lightsaber to deflect the laser back at them." "Maybe, but those lasers seem rather slower than actual lasers," Ida pointed out. It could be that these lasers being fired are not in fact actual laser, but rather an possible variant or substitute that directs energy in a form similar to lasers. Regardless, the speed one would have to block and deflect them would still be incredibly fast and impressive. Even so, Luke's most instrumental tool is his unrivaled connection to the Force, an invisible energy field that surrounds, penetrates, and binds all living things throughout the universe. Wizard revealed. "The Force?" Uraraka questioned. "The Force surrounds all living things. Control. Manipulating the aspects of one's body. Sense. Recognizing and immersing in environment. Alter, manipulating subjects and environment. He can apply it in 3 aspects: control, sense, and alter. Wiz explained. Controlling all aspects of the body, sensing and utilizing his surroundings, and altering the environment around him. Can one of the nerd brigade simplify this, please? Kaminari asked. Stop calling us that. Momo yelled out, annoyed. But if I have to guess, I would say that the control aspect could increase his own physical abilities, likely leg and arm strength, stamina, and durability. What about sense? Kuro asked. Sense could mean that Luke's 5 senses, touch, taste, sight, smell, and hearing, are all stronger than normal, and he can use those enhanced senses to better maneuver through an environment, sort of like Jairu and Shoji, for stealth, escape, or even leading an foe into a trap. Izuku explained. As for alter, this Luke could very well possess some equivalent of a quirk where he can later the environment around him. Ida jumped in. Likely something similar to telekinesis or telepathy. Like the mind trick thingy. Boomstick giddily pointed out. Ooh, the terrible things I would do with that. What? Mineta screeched. He can control people's minds. Oh, that would be so awesome to use on the GI-**boom**. Mineta was blasted into the ground again by an annoyed Bakugu. Deku may have apologized to you for putting you in your place, but I didn't. You deserve that for even thinking about that. That would be rape, you purple bastard. I guess you were right, Ida, Azui said, paying no attention or care to what just happened. That brainwashing ability certainly seems to alter the affected person's mind. It's sort of like your quirk, Shinso. Izuku spoke to the tired-looking student. Isn't that cool? Yeah, cool, Shinso repeated, a small smile on his face that a different version of his quirk was used for good. If a hero like he can use it for good, so can I. He thought. Force powers. Force persuasion. Increased senses. Force body. Flash burn. Force heal. Increased speed and strength. Force choke. Telekinesis. Shatterpoint. When injured or exhausted, he can push his physical limits with a force body ability, and use flash burn to neglect pain, before he can mend his wounds with force heal. Wizard listed. So he can increase his physical abilities to a greater extent, remove his sense of pain, and heal himself. Midnight listed. That is one very useful power. Also, Luke uses the force to move things with his mind, with almost no limits. Boomstick jumped in. Hell, he can even take after his old man by tossing his lightsaber before calling it back to him, like some deadly laser boomerang. Telekinesis too, All Might exclaimed. It's like he has multiple quirks wrapped into one power. What is actually more interesting and scary a thought is that if this ability to use the Force is a similar trait with other Jedi, then a whole group of them would be one powerful force. David Shield said. Isn't that sort of like your quirk, Reiko? Suka asked her classmate. My quirk, Poltergeist, allows me to extend my influence and control objects equivalent to the weight of a human soul. Reiko dramatically said. Pardon? Mina asked, utterly confused. She can telekinetically move things with her mind, and only as much as an average human weights. Setsuna simplified. Another questionable notable ability he takes after his father is the Force Choke, telekinetically gripping a person's airway to either incapacitate or kill his foes. Wiz jumped in too. The group shivered at the dark-sounding ability, a few subconsciously rubbing their own necks. Finally, Luke can use Shatterpoint to identify any possible weakness or a fracture in a subject. Wiz continued. Add just a little pressure with the Force Dash. And boom! Boomstick jumped in. They explode faster than a Firestone tire. As the group watched Luke turn several robots' intro exploded pieces of scrap, Ibarra shuddered. I fear to imagine what kind would occur if used on a human body. The group shivered at the mental image conjured in their heads, a few turning green at the graphic images their imaginations drew up. Luke has defeated a wide variety of foes ranging from stormtroopers to deadly Sith Lords, the antithesis and arch-rivals of the Jedi who specialize in the dark side of the Force. Wiz explained. So, these Sith are the villains of this universe and use some dark side of this Force for evil. Gran Torino said. I fear that with the list of powers this boy has, the Sith can use as well, and in very unpleasant ways. One of which Luke had to construct a second lightsaber to beat. Wiz continued. Wait, he built another lightsaber? Melissa exclaimed. He must be an impressive inventor too. Shoto Saber, Shoto Todoroki perked up. Shorter red blade. Approximately 2-foot blade. Used in Jarkai form. Used sparingly. His shorter red Shoto Saber was made to counter the Sith Lumiya's light whip. And it worked pretty damn well. Boomstick explained. Shoto, Kirishima said. Like your name, Todoroki. The two kanji of my name mean burn and freeze. Todoroki replied. But they could be referring to a shoto, a Japanese sword. He still carries it, yet prefers a single blade rather than two-handed combat. Wiz pointed out. Heh, penis joke. Boomstick pervertedly joked. The heroes groaned in annoyance, while most of the women shuddered in disgust. The men's side of the students were also split in either annoyance, indifference, or suppressing laughter. Anyways, Luke doesn't have a specific weakness, other than some pretty serious daddy issues and impulsive desire to save others, especially his friends, Leia, Han, and Chewbacca from danger. Boomstick continued. This impulsive drive and fear drove Luke from his training with former Jedi Master Yoda to save his friends from his soon-to-be-revealed father's clutches, only for his inexperience at the time to have a costly consequence. Wiz explained. The video showed Darth Vader slashing off Luke's right hand off and taking his blue lightsaber with it. Oh no! Toru cried out. That's horrible! And from his own father too. Izuku shuddered, subconsciously rubbing his arms, remembering the words from the doctor over the detrimental state of his arms and the possibility of losing them. Don't worry, he got better, and got a sweet prosthetic arm as a replacement, which Luke can still channel the Force through. Boomstick pointed out. Phew, that's a relief. Suna sighed. I'd imagine fighting with laser swords with only one hand would be pretty difficult. Luke doesn't carry a blaster, but unlike other stupid Jedi, he isn't afraid to use one. Boomstick continued. While Luke is no fan of violence, he certainly will not pull any punches. Wiz said. Going toe-to-toe against Vader for one final time, defeating him in combat, but he refused to kill his own father, recognizing the good still in the Sith's heart. And before Luke could be killed by Emperor Palpatine, the most vile and powerful Sith Lord ever, Vader turned against his former master to save his son, sacrificing himself for Luke and bringing peace and balance to the Force and the galaxy. I am a Jedi, Luke declared, like my father before me. The group had an overall positive reaction from Luke Skywalker. The guys thought that his range of powers and his lightsaber were cool, including Shinso, for his Luke's mind trick, and Izuku, finding himself relating to the former farmer. Todoroki also sympathized with the young man for their similar case of horrible fathers. The girls thought that his powers and skills were impressive and amazing, with many of them claiming that he looked cute and even handsome as he grew older. May and Melissa found themselves agreeing that they would vote for the Jedi just for his lightsabers alone. As for the heroes, they too were impressed with the boy's skills and powers, though were uncertain when it came to his dark heritage, and some powers of the Force being rather dark and dangerous if used poorly or wrongly. The next fighter was first shown as a young boy, no older than 11, but then later shown in his teens, more taller and cooler. The boy would also be shown in various outfits, ranging from robes of a wizard to regular modern clothes. What stayed consistent was the boy's messy raven black hair, his poison green eyes, a pair of round glasses, and a scar on his forehead, shaped like a lightning bolt. They also saw the boy somehow flying on a broomstick while chasing a tiny golden orb with wings. The main though going through their head at the weird sight was, Harry Potter. As the video played, whimsical, mysterious music played that caused the group to shiver in excitement and wonder. Wow, I can already guess what these two already have in common, Hyuka said. Cool music. Eri and Kuta's smiles were wide, eyes alight in whimsy and wonder. Izuku and Mirio noticed and smiled. Harry James Potter is the orphan child of James and Lily Evans Potter, who was made an orphan and, inadvertently, granted the talent and power of the most powerful Dark Lord of all magical history, Lord Voldemort. Wiz began. The video showed an image of Voldemort, his skin pale and hairless and his body skinny like he was a walking skeleton. His fingers were long, wrinkly, and his nails sharp. He wore dark wizard robes that looked as if they were made from the shadows themselves. He lacked a nose and instead had narrow slits, and his eyes were red and sharp. He looked like the very definition of a snake. The group shuddered in fear at the very look and presence of the Dark Lord, Eri and Kuta practically clinging onto Izuku and Mirio like they saw their worst fear come to life. All Might's eyes widened wide and fearful, the face of the man easily resembling the face of All for One's mangled face during their final confrontation. The students were all also shaking in their boots at the sight of the Dark Wizard. Even Bakugu and Todoroki felt unnerved and frozen. After collecting themselves, their fear turned to hatred at the revelation of Voldemort murdering Harry's parents. I guess both Luke and Harry are similar in their status as orphans, Suka said. That's terrible. Indeed, Ui said. Background. Height. Unknown tall. Weight. Unknown skinny. Born. July 31st, 1980. Half-blood wizard. Accidentally cursed to carry Voldemort's powers and soul. Married to Ginny Weasley. Father to James, Albus, and Lily Potter. He was raised by his aunt and uncle, who kept him safe by disguising his true powers. Wiz revealed. At the age of 11, Harry found out the truth that he was in fact a wizard. You're a wizard, Harry. A very large man with a large beard said to the young boy. Soon after, he was enrolled into the prestigious Wizarding School of England, Hogwarts, and learned the ways of magic, with the aid of a wise old mentor, Hogwarts headmaster, Albus Percival Wulfric Brain Dumbledore. Wow, they pretty much have the same backstory, Sin said. Now why does that sound familiar? Boomstick asked sarcastically. Right, Sin said again. Next thing you tell me is that his aunt and uncle were burned alive. Well, technically, while Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen were strict but kind, the Dursleys were anything but kind, Wiz pointed out. For nearly all of his childhood, Harry was abused by his relatives, underfed and treated poorly in comparison to his cousin Dudley. His bedroom up until he was 11 was a small cupboard under the stairs. What? The group exclaimed in horror and anger. Jesus! Boomstick exclaimed. Are we sure we can't have these relatives be the ones burned, or are they covered for that when they go to HE double hockey sticks? I agree, Momo said. That is abuse if I have ever seen it. How would anyone be so cruel? Momo. Izuku drew the attention of the Yaoyorozu heiress to Eri, who was a millisecond away from bursting into tears. Oh my god! Momo cried out in horrified realization. I am so sorry, Eri. I didn't mean to upset you. Please forgive me. Eri sniffed a bit before climbing up to Momo, thanks to Izuku, and said, It's okay, Miss Momo. I know you didn't mean it. I am sorry if I made you sad too. Momo's eyes were wide before turning watery and embraced the white-haired child tightly, thinking of others' feelings over her own. Now where did she learn that from? Momo wondered, looking at the green-haired teen that smiled at her and his unofficial daughter. While they hugged, Eri thought Miss Momo's hugs are warm and caring. Is Miss Momo Mama, or is it the others? Maybe I should ask Papa later. Meanwhile, boys and girls alike sniffed and sweetly cried at the tender sweet sight before them. The rest of the girls that like Izuku felt a tiny bit of jealousy but swiftly pushed it down as now was not the time for that. All they cared right now was not bawling their eyes out at the sweet scene. The heroes looked at the scene with smiles. Nizu and Gran Torino smiled mischievously. Eraser nodded in acknowledgement of Momo's quick work and Eri's pure, innocent nature. All Might smiled too, proudly at Izuku for caring and reflecting his best qualities towards Eri. Midnight and Mount Lady were nearly bawling at the sweet sight, already wasting a pile of tissues that somehow appeared out of nowhere. Even Maruko smiled at the sight. Pixie Bob smiled at the scene before depressingly thinking, damn it, this just makes me want to be a mother more than ever. Pixie Bob thought, before looking at Eri going back to Mirio and Izuku, the green-haired teen making sure that Eri was okay. Maybe I found the right kitten for the job. Good thing I called dibs when he graduates. 1. Length 11 inches. Make holly. Core phoenix feather. Described as nice and supple. Brother to Voldemort's own wand. Harry wields an 11-inch phoenix core holly wand. Wiz revealed. Obviously, wizards and witches use their wands to conjure up spells by a certain movement and verbal incantations, with only the most skilled and powerful of mages to be able to summon magic wordlessly. Oh yeah, we were so busy with hating Voldemort and Harry's relatives, we forgot that there is actual magic here. Midnight said. That's pretty cool. Kominari said. Like, can he make bunnies come out of hats or something? I think this world might have some more deadly kind of magic. Ciro replied. He has learned numerous spells and is exceptionally skilled in charms. Wiz continued. Arms. Expelliarmus, disarms. Confundus, confuses. Stupefy, stuns. Protego, shields. Expecto Patronus, shields from dark creatures like Dementors. Accio, summons objects. His trademark attack is the disarming spell. Boomstick said. Expelliaraptimus or whatever. Expelliarmus was corrected, which can either knock a weapon away from an opponent's hand or straight knock an opponent through the air. Boomstick continued. That would be useful in disarming wands from other wizards and disarming deadly weapons from a foe, like Luke's lightsaber, Izuku said. Plus, it could also be offensive in nature by blasting someone away. Melissa jumped in. Confundus temporarily confuses the target, Stupefy stuns them, and the shield charm Protego protects Harry from almost any attack. Wiz listed. What a versatile amount of spells. Momo said in amazement. Spells for defense, offense, and weakening an opponent. He also has mastered the Patronus charm spell, which creates a glowing creature made of pure light and powered by happy memories that can be used as a messenger or protect Harry from dark creatures like the monstrous Dementors. Wiz explained. The video showed an image of the Dementors as they were called, floating humanoid creatures, cloaked entirely in black robes, with gnarled claws, hideous, sharp-toothed mouths, and floated around spreading frost and ice everywhere they went. If Voldemort scared the group, the Dementors made them all pale-faced and terrified. Thankfully, Izuku and Mirio covered Ares and Kuta's eyes in time, but couldn't do anything for the Dementors' ghastly wails that made the two shudder in fear. What the hell are those things? Setsuna yelped in terror. Even Tokoyami and Shurhai trembled in fear at the creature of literal darkness. This particular spell is a master-level spell that is taught by older students, and Harry learned and mastered it during only his 3rd year of Hogwarts, showcasing his powerful magical power and his prodigy status. Wiz pointed out, powerful in both the force and magic, and prodigies of their own world. Ida listed the comparisons. I truly wonder how this fight will end up. He can summon anything he wants with Accio. Boomstick jumped in. Ahem, Accio money. Accio loose women. Nothing happens. Damn. Accio hot. Horny babes. Mineta and Kominari yelled in unison. As nothing happened for several seconds, Mina said. You do remember that you have to have wands to do that. And be wizards. Damn it. Mineta and Kominari yelled in wailing despair. Ahem. The two perverts froze as behind them was Bakugu, grinning like a madman and his eyes blazing red. Did you two forget what happens when you two do shit like this? The two trembling looked towards their tormentor. It appears not. So, I will knock this into your degenerate skulls. As Mineta and Kominari were attacked by the feral Bakugu, the guys cheered and shouted, fight! Fight! While Eraserhead went over to break them up, most notably walking incredibly slowly and taking his time. Meanwhile, Eri looked questionably at her hands and shouted, Accio mama! Nothing happened at first until Mina said, Hey, should we get closer and see Bakuga tear those two apart? Let's do it, Kyuka said. The girls started walking over to them, while Izuku stood up saying, I probably should break them up. They've had enough for today. Suddenly, and without any logical explanation, all the girls of the unofficial Izuku harem suddenly tripped on a suddenly appearing banana peel and fell onto Izuku. Izuku groaned in slight pain, his vision blurry. Ugh, what happened? Why do I feel like I am laying on a pillow? Izuku thought. And why is there a pillow in my face? Izuku reached out his hands up, only for them to grab onto something. Huh. What is this? He squeezed experimentally. Squishy. He squeezed again only for a noise to suddenly come out saying, ah. Izuku's mind flared into overdrive, his vision returning to normal to see a sight that made his heart freeze. On top of him was Melissa, her large breasts in which Izuku's face was planted in. Izuku froze in place before moving his eyes to his right to see what his hand was holding onto. His widened further in horror as his hand was grabbing Nijire's breast. He swiftly looked to his left to see that he was holding onto Uraraka's breast. Izuku looked down to see Ajui and Mei on his right leg, Mina and Toru on his left leg, and Jairu and God knows how, Setsuna right over his crotch. Before Izuku went into a panic, Izuku then remembered in horrifying realization that he was laying on something. He craned his head upwards to see that the soft somethings he was laying on were Momo's breasts. The girls all quickly came to their slight dizziness and realized their situation, their faces frozen in shock. Jairu and Setsuna would come to their senses. Their faces quickly grew so burning red that their faces could replace Rudolph's nose to light Santa's way. The rest of the girls quickly realized their situation and quickly separated before the guys and most of the group would notice. They returned to their seats, faces burning red. Nijire's motionless blank lips twitched into a millisecond-long smile. Same occurred with Uraraka, Melissa, and Momo. Kyuka and Setsuna were nothing but stuttering, blushing messes. Ajui's cheeks flared red, and Mina and Toru let out a tiny giggle, blood running down their noses. Izuku for his part was frozen as a statue, his face like a tomato and praying to whatever multiverse god was watching them that no one noticed. Of course others noticed. All the female pros and rest of the female students noticed and were trying their absolute hardest not to laugh their asses off. The same situation occurred with All Might, Nizu, Gran Torino, and David Shield, who were all practically hitting themselves to keep from laughing. Eraserhead noticed as he walked down slowly, shuddering suddenly as his scarf hid his cracking smile. Todoroki, Mirio, Kuta, Amajiki, Ida, and Oyama too noticed, with the two sending thumbs up to Izuku, who noticed and groaned in defeat. Eri watched the whole scene unfold and looked at her hand in confusion. After that incident and Eraserhead finally breaking Bakugo away from the two perverts, the two covered in bruises that Recovery Girl had to fix. Bakugo was given a day's detention, which he couldn't care less, and Mineta and Kaminari were given 5 days. When they complained why, Eraserhead said, with a maniac smile, for sexual misconduct. The two decided to just give up hope and continue on with the video. Firebolt Broomstick. 0 to 150 miles per hour in 10 seconds. Breaking Charm. Perfect Balance. Dreamline Dash. Individually selected twigs for aerodynamic perfection. His Firebolt is a flying racing broom that can reach up to 150 miles per hour in less than 10 seconds. Was revealed as the video continued. Why I am not surprised that in a world of witches and magic, that there would be flying brooms, Kyuka sarcastically asked. I'm actually impressed with that level of speed from a simple broom, Mei said. And how a broom could fly. Could it be some anti-gravity tech inside the wood? Hatsumi I remember magic, Uraraka said. Oh right, yeah I forgot, Mei said. That's even faster than Wiz gets shot down by a woman. Boomstick joke / burned. Yes, Wiz accidentally agreed. Wait no. Back to spells. The audience descended into laughter. even Izuku, the girls, Mineta, and Kaminari, as they immediately forgot about their respective incidents. Curses. Reducto, destroys objects. Sectum Sempra, slashes. Oppunio, objects attack. Imperio, controls minds and an unforgivable curse. Crucio, causes pain and an unforgivable curse. Avada Kedavra, the killing curse and an unforgivable curse. Harry, as he is also a prodigy in defense against the dark arts, is also experienced in curses. Wiz revealed. He destroys objects with Reducto, slashes enemies with Sectum Sempra, and control minds with Imperio and causes pain with Crucio. The group flinched at the sight of the blonde-haired boy that looked suspiciously like Monoma, covered in bloody cuts and bleeding on the wet floor. That curse seems rather extreme, UQ said. Well, it is a curse, Muruko said. I doubt something called a curse will cause something as weak as tickling. Interestingly, Sectum Sempra appears to be a combination of two Latin words. Mizu stated. Sectum is Latin for to cut, and Sempra refers to the word semper meaning always. So this curse could mean that Sectum Sempra causes a curse that cannot be healed. A rather deadly attack should it land. Shinso was more intrigued by the Imperious curse and its ability to control minds. Another point of similarity between Harry and Luke. Okay, I like that Reducto curse, Bakuga said. That curse was literally made for me. No argument here, Turo said. And of course there is the killing curse. Abracadabra. Boomstick jumped in. Avada Kedavra. Wiz corrected his co-host again. Oh, Boomstick said in realization. So that magician wasn't trying to kill me. I guess I should probably go apologize to his family. Most of the heroes and students facepalm at the hopefully joke, while Bakugo and Kamakiri were having trouble keeping in their laughter. Jokes about murdering a magician aside, that curse seems incredibly dangerous if it literally kills you, Suka said. While Harry has never actually used the killing curse, it is implied that he can, due to Voldemort's skill and power that he transferred to Harry. Wiz pointed out, it is an instant kill and unblockable, so protection charms like Protego are useless against it. How in the world, even if it's a magical one, would they invent a curse that could literally kill someone in one shot and can't be blocked? Some question. It could have been created by an evil wizard, like that horrid Voldemort, Ibarra said, taking a break from her continuing prayers of forgiveness for witnessing the satanic and blasphemous sorcery. It's unblockable unless it hits a wall, Boomstick pointed out too. Or a sword. Or anything really. Could Luke's lightsaber be able to block the killing curse? Or would it have to be a magic sword? Izuku questioned. I doubt that while it hit was magical, so it could be that anything that is non-living could block a curse that kills living things. Mirio said. Almost all magic requires a line of sight and eye contact to perform. Wiz said. The killing curse is no exception. Oh, so could the killing curse not work because the person was obscured by a wall or sword? Nijire asked. I suppose so. Momo replied. Actually, Wiz. Boomstick continued. Why doesn't everybody use that curse? Sounds a whole lot easier than just stunning people or wrapping them up in a rope. Well, for one, not everybody wants to kill their enemies because, well, morals, but also because the killing curse is one of the 3 unforgivable curses, including with it the Imperious curse and the Cruciatus curse. Wiz explained. Getting caught using one of these 3 curses is incredibly illegal to the wizarding government, and will send you straight into Azkaban, the magical world's strongest and most impenetrable prison. The heroes and students nodded in approval, relieved that a spell so horrible was outlawed. Shinso nodded in reluctance at the mention of the Imperious curse also being illegal, admitting that brainwashing spell that anyone could learn and use could end up being an illegal spell to use. Until Sirius turned into a dog and snuck off. Boomstick jumped in. And Voldemort destroyed it. So yeah, impenetrable. But anyways, since this is Death Battle, things like law and morality get thrown out the window, so kill away. Apparition. Teleportation. Long range. Instantaneous. Does not require a wand. Possibly easier to do with a wand. Harry also knows teleporting, Boomstick said, giving up trying to pronounce spells, and can do it without a wand. So these wizards also have access to instant teleportation. Nizu mumbled. Quite interesting. Occlumency. Prevents mind control and mind reading. Has not master but is adequate. Unconventionally uses a fond memory as a shield. His training in occlumency defends his mind from any sort of mental attack or illusion, though he hasn't fully mastered it. Was said. That could help Harry be kept from being mind-tricked by Luke. All Might said. Although that haven't mastered part could be a problem. And he's got all sorts of other spells. But I seriously doubt the tickle charm will help him in the fight, so let's move on. Boomstick said. Miruko chuckled at her unintentional prediction over a spell that could tickle someone. Cloak of Invisibility. The third Deathly Hallow. Does now wear out. Hides the wearer. Cannot be detected unless the wearer allows it. Harry owns the Cloak of Invisibility, an unrelenting deathly hallow that hides the wearer from sight and cannot be detected, unless he makes a noise, or pokes his foot out. Wait, he also has invisibility? Toru questioned. So unfair. Why is every fighter here know how to turn themselves invisible? Harry is a quick draw with his wand and has performed many great feats at very young ages. Wiz revealed. Such feats include defeating Voldemort's schemes multiple times over, slaying a giant basilisk with a magic sword, fending off a swarm of Dementors, surviving an encounter from a fire-breathing dragon, and defeating multiple Death Eaters, Voldemort's followers. The group's eyes were wide in astonishment of Harry Potter's achievements. He has also mastered non-verbal spells and can speak Parseltongue, a magical language that allows him to communicate and control snakes. Wiz continued. Setsuna's eyes widened in amazement and delight, herself wishing for the power to talk with snakes, being the reptile lover that she was. Azui meanwhile wondered if that power would work on her friend, Habuko. By the time he was 17, he was beating up way more experienced wizards, but has also received help of his own from his best friends, Ron and Hermione, especially when Harry's impulsiveness and stubbornness gets him into trouble quite a lot. Boomstick jumped in. But in the battle for Hogwarts, he had no problem kicking a ton of Death Eater ass. Not to mention Lord Voldemort himself. The students cheered as they saw the Dark Lord disintegrate into ashes, the heroes nodding in respect, eyes wide at the power of the boy who lived. Afterwards, Harry became head of the Dark Wizard Hunting Aura Office, basically Wizarding World's police force, even though he is technically a Hogwarts dropout. Wiz explained. That is shameful, Ida said dramatically. Education, in whatever facet of society, magical or not, is an important part of one's life. It is quite shameful to forego an important education. Ida, chill, Kirishima said. Give the guy a break. I'm sure he had a reason to skip school. Maybe he couldn't go because he was being hunted by those Death Eater guys. He never did finish that 7th year since Wizard Hitler was hunting him down. Boomstick agreed. But I guess if you kill the Lord of Ultimate Evil, you get a GED. Are you psychic, Kirishima? Tetsu questioned. Are you a wizard? The students laughed as Kirishima rubbed his head nervously, while Ida profusely apologized for his rash judgment. In Gorjo, Harry performed a spell on a flame inside a jar only for the flame to shoot off like a flamethrower. Curditio! He yelled as he reduced the flame back to normal. All right, the combatants are set, was said. Let's end this debate once and for all. It's time for a death battle, Boomstick announced. As the screen paused and searched for multiverse counterparts, the group once again voted for their fighters. The choice was rather difficult, with both heroes relatable to many of the group, and found it hard to choose between both heroic, powerful warriors. In the end, the ones who voted for Luke Skywalker included Kuta, who found the space wizard with a laser sword cool, Shinso, for Luke's more morally neutral use of mind tricks, Todoroki because he related with Skywalker's father issues, May and Melissa over Luke's lightsabers, along with David Shield and Powerloader, Momo and Ida, who both found Luke's powers with the Force more intriguing and easier to comprehend than magic. Nizu, who was intrigued as well with the concept of the Force, Eraserhead and Maruko, who liked Luke's acrobatic and agility, and All Might, who respected Luke finding good inside someone who was thought truly gone and saving that someone like a hero, something he wished to be able to do with Shigaraki. As for those who voted for Harry Potter, those were Eri, who found the charming whimsical world of Harry Potter more fun, Mirio, who voted with Eri and respecting Harry's skill, Bakugo and Kamakiri, who liked the Reducto curse and thought that the killing curse would make an easy win, Azui and Setsuna for Harry's Parseltongue, Tokoyami and Shurhai over Harry overcoming great darkness and dark foes, Ryukyu, who was impressed that Harry managed to best a fire-breathing dragon and giant basilisk at a young age, Uraraka and Nijire because they found the spells amazing and cool, with a multitude of questions flooding the older girl's brain. Kaminari for the lightning bolt scar on Harry's forehead, and Reiko for the mysterious and magical world that Harry Potter resided. Izuku decided to not vote, feeling conflicted over choosing between the two heroes who he related to and respected. Scanning complete. The device finished its search. Luke Skywalker. Multiversal counterpart. Izuku Midoriya. Wow Deku, we found another counterpart of yours, Uraraka pointed out. And he's a cool space wizard with that lightsaber. Mina jumped in. Oh, I'm so jealous. Heh, thanks. Izuku blushed, his mind still reeling from the previous incident. Harry Potter. Multiversal counterpart. Izuku Midoriya. What? The group's reaction was over the other counterpart to Izuku. Izuku himself froze in surprise, mentally wondering if his refusal to vote was for this very reason. What is this bullshit? Bakugo yelled. How come we keep getting shitty Deku's counterparts? It's bullshit and repetitive. Wow, if I didn't know any better I would say that Midoriya is like the protagonist of our world. Ojiro jokingly said, oblivious to how true his joke actually was. Papa, Eri said loudly, gaining her papa's attention. Did you see that? Did you see? You are also Mr. Harry like Mr. Luke. And your Harry you is so amazing. He beat that mean, scary Voldy man and flew with that broom like whoosh. Isn't that great, Papa? Izuku smiled, eyes watering a bit at Eri's adorable excitement and smile that he cherished. Yeah, I saw and it is great too, Eri. I'm glad you liked it. Izuku patted and rubbed the girl's head, who giggled in happiness. Yeah, it's cool that you are that wizard dude, but I like more that Luke Skywalker guy. Kuta yelled out to his idol. He was all like zoom with that cool sword, and it was so cool when he, or you, deflected those laser and fought that Vader guy. Izuku chuckled at the boy's enthusiasm. Yeah, Luke is pretty cool. Much better than me, huh? Huh? Kuta looked confused. What are you talking about? That fact that you are him makes you both more cooler. Izuku looked flabbergasted before smiling. Thank you, Kuta. It means so much to me that you think I'm cool. Why yeah, whatever. Kuta said as he quickly went back into grumpy mode. Meanwhile, the audience watched the scene with equal parts jealousy over the attention and counterparts, pride over his fatherly and idol roles, and happy at the green beans and kids' smile and joy. How can three people be so heartwarming to see? They thought, except for Bakugo, who was pissed off that Deku was the center of attention, Monoma for the same reasons as Bakugo, and Maruko, who wished she could skip the sweet crap, even though she secretly found it adorable and cute. Additional counterparts detected. The device interrupted. Yoda. Multiversal counterpart. Sorahiko Torino aka Gran Torino. Ha! Gran Torino yelled out. If the kid is this Skywalker boy, it makes sense that I be his mentor from another world. I guess you were right that Yoda being an old grandpa, Mina. Izuku said. What was that boy? Gran Torino yelled. NN nothing Master Torino. Izuku stuttered out in fear. I to have been. Unless you want for me to give you some more of Toshinori's training. The advanced level. Gran Torino threatened with a dark grin. All Might shuddered and curled into a ball, rocking back and forth as memories of pure hell replayed in his mind. The students and heroes all witnessed the symbol of peace reduced to a quivering heap and thought with horror as to how strong and heartless the old hero must be to turn the former #1 hero into this state. Leia Organa Skywalker. The device continued showing an image of a beautiful woman by Luke's side with rather unique hairstyles. Multiversal counterpart. Ochiko Uraraka. Wait, Skywalker, Uraraka pointed out. Does that mean that me and Izuku's counterparts are married? Izuku blushed fiery red along with Uraraka, whilst the rest of the girls gained a dark aura of jealousy. Luckily the device came to the rescue by revealing status of Leia Organa Skywalker's long-lost twin sister of Luke Skywalker. The girls sighed in relief. Uraraka's blushing face turned to a slouched, depressed state, and Izuku rubbed his head, not sure whether to feel relief or disappointment. Han Solo. Multiversal counterpart. Katsuki Bakugu. The device showed a few images of Han flying a cool ship that was shaped like a frisbee and firing stormtroopers with a blaster. Whoa, Baku bro, you look so badass, Kirishima said. And that ship looks awesome. Baku bro smiled in satisfaction at his cool counterpart. Chewbacca. The device showed a large furry alien creature growling beside Han Solo while firing laser bolts out of a crossbow-looking blaster. Multiversal counterpart. Ejiro Kirishima. Ahahaha. Monoma laughed tauntingly. Oh, of course it would make sense that one of you Class 1A degenerates would be an ape monster. Hey, screw you Monoma. Tetsu yelled at his classmate. That alien looks awesome as hell and Kirishima more awesome for being compared to him. Thanks man. Kirishima thanked his steel quirk equivalent with a fist bump. Ron Weasley. The device said, showing an image of the red-haired teen beside Harry. Multiversal counterpart. Denki Kaminari. Hey, would you look at that? I'm a wizard and your best friend in another world, Midoriya. Kaminari said. Cool, right? Yeah, Izuku said. Hermione Granger. The device showed a few images of a beautiful girl with light brown, messy hair firing spells and besting Kaminari in some wizard duel, which caused the group to laugh at the embarrassed teen. Multiversal counterpart. Momo Yaoyorozu. Wow Momo, you look great in this world too, I'm so jealous. Hura said. Thank you Hagakure. Though I do see that my counterpart seems rather studious as well. Momo said. Lord Voldemort. Multiversal counterpart. All for one. The heroes frowned that the powerful villain once again pops his evil head into yet another universe. All Might frowned in rage, especially at his successor to be cursed to fight this evil in yet another universe. Afterwards, with all the counterparts said, the video began up again as the fight started. The video showed Luke, dressed in black robes over a set of black armor, on a walkway on some futuristic city. His lightsaber in hand but deactivated. Soon Harry Potter, dressed in his own dark and red wizardly robes, with his wand out and ready. Luke met his foe by activating his lightsaber, its green blade forming and humming in energy. Fight. Harry the fight off by attempting to cast a spell, Avada Kedavra Dash. Harry was cut off as Luke thrust his hand forward, attempting to control his mind with his mind trick ability. Smart, Jinso said. He's trying to quickly incapacitate Harry to leave him defenseless and easy to kill. Harry was frozen for a few moments before breaking free with a clemency. Phew, at least he had a clemency to help him, Uraraka said. Harry attempted to fire the killing curse again, only for Skywalker to force push him away, the Jedi jumping over to his stunned foe. As Harry recovered, Luke jumped towards him, spinning in the air with his lightsaber ready to strike the wizard down, only for the boy who lived to apparate away, appearing behind Luke. Skywalker seems to have the greater agility, likely due to his greater physical prowess and the Force, but Potter has the greater evasion and mobility with his teleporting abilities. Endeavor analyzed. Luke attempted to fire another Force push only for Harry to shield himself with Protego. Harry proceeded to wordlessly fire several spells and curses towards Luke, the last Jedi blocking the spells using his lightsaber. I guess Luke's lightsaber can block spells, Izuku said. But it doesn't look like he's deflecting them. Melissa jumped in. It could be that when the spells are fired, they're physical in nature, and the lightsaber, since it's made of what appears to be concentrated light, when it blocks them they disintegrate quickly instead of deflecting them. You kind of lost me there, Zero said. Explain again. It's easy to understand, you tape dispenser. Kuga yelled. Those spells aren't made of light like they appear to be, so the lightsaber can't deflect. It's sleek if you shoot a bullet at it. It's going to burn away into nothing very quickly. Luke flipped over another spell and slashed at Harry Potter, the wizard operating a few meters behind Luke again. Expelliarmus! Harry yelled as he fired bolts of red magic at Luke, with the Jedi blocking the spells before Force pushing Harry's wand out of his hand, the wand landing a few meters away. Wait, that spell is supposed to knock away objects. So why didn't it knock away the lightsaber? Toto asked. It could be that since the spell came into contact with the blade part of the lightsaber, it too was disintegrated. Gerota said. If it hit the metal's solid hilt of the blade, then maybe it could have made it flown away. Regardless, Skywalker knocked Harry's wand away, Toji said. He's defenseless. Luke rushed forwards to end the fight before Harry operating to his wand. Accio Firebolt! Harry casted. Luke threw his lightsaber, the futuristic weapon spinning towards Harry. Protego! Harry casted the shield charm again, the lightsaber bouncing off the magic shield and up into the air. Luke jumped after his weapon and caught it in midair, only to get hit by Harry's firebolt as it raced towards its owner. Ooh, that's gotta hurt, Hananuki said. Harry jumped onto the firebolt, flying overhead from Luke, and fired a reducto. Luke quickly sidestepped away from the magical explosion. Harry flew fast by multiple times, firing spells and curses at his grounded enemy as he continued blocking spell after spell. Clever, Momo said. Harry is flying around at a fast rate to try and land an attack at Luke. With Harry at the high ground, he has the advantage. Why do I have the sudden urge to meme right now? Kaminari mumbled. Luke, his patience wearing thin, used to the Force and telekinetically froze, grabbed onto Harry, the wizard and his firebolt freezing in midair. Luke brought his hands down and slammed Harry into the ground, Harry's firebolt exploding into wooden pieces. Man, they weren't kidding with that force ability of his being vital, Meg said. It's overpowered as hell. When the smoke of the crash dissipated, a flash of apparition was seen, Harry teleporting away. Luke looked around for his opponent before Harry's voice called out from behind him, yelling, "Confundo!" Luke glowed yellow as he was confused, tossing his lightsaber in Harry's direction only to find nothing there. "Wait, where is he?" Kozai asked. "There's no one there. Could he have teleported?" "Maybe, but he could be invisible as well," Suka said. "Harry is likely using that invisibility cloak to sneak attack his opponent." "Yeah," Toru yelled. "Invisibility for the win." "Calm down, Toru, he hasn't won yet," Hyuka said. Though Luke's also confused with that spell, so Harry has him on the ropes. "Stupefy!" Harry's voice called, invisible, as he fired a white bolt of magic, Luke evading with a roll before calling his lightsaber. "How did he not get hit?" Mineta asked. "He's confused and Harry is invisible. It could be that Luke's focusing on the Force to keep track of his surroundings and focus through Harry's Confundo spell," Izuku said. Luke unleashed a burst of Force energy. The blast wave revealing Harry was his cloak of invisibility was blasted off. "Oh no!" Toru yelled. "Wizard Izuku is visible again." Izuku blushed red. "Izuku!" Luke struck his hand out, this time his hand glowing red, with Harry still as he choked on Luke's Force choke ability. "He has him in that Force choke move," Midnight said. "By the way, isn't it curious that he is glowing red?" The heroes and the students looked closer and agreed that Luke's hand and Harry's body were glowing red instead of whitish blue. It must be that Force choke must be a darker kind of ability than the other ones, Nizu stated. Darth Vader also used that ability and, given his dark affiliation, it must be that using the Force choke is using more the dark side of the Force than the light. All Might frowned, not exactly pleased at the thought of his successor, counterpart or not, using such a dark version of his power. All Might almost shuddered picturing Izuku with all for one instead of one for all in comparison. Whilst his enemy was incapacitated, Luke tossed his lightsaber. Harry struggled before eventually breaking free for a moment and firing a Rikuto curse, the curse colliding with the lightsaber as it exploded. "Oh man," Kirishima yelled. "Now Luke's weaponless." "I wouldn't be so sure about that," Todoroki said. "Avada Kedavra," Harry yelled as he fired a poison-green blast, which Luke rolled away from. They said that attack was unblockable. They never said anything about unavoidable. Jiro pointed out. Harry fired several more spells and curses, Luke shielding himself with a force shield. Sectum Sempra. Harry casted. Luke's side suddenly slashed open, his side stained in red from the deadly cut. The group flinched at the deadly cut. The Harry supporters leaned in their seats in excitement, while the Luke voters were feeling antsy and nervous. Luke thrust his head forward, glowing white, as the screen panned over to Harry, more specifically his scar. The scar pulsated before exploding in blood, Harry crying out in pain. Izuku and Mirio covered Eri and Kuta eyes, the group feeling slightly nauseous at the bloody attack. "What was that?" Pony questioned. "It was Luke's Shatterpoint," Shui answered. "They said that Luke could use it to pinpoint an enemy's weak spot and then exploit it with the Force. I guess that's how it looks on a human. I'm starting to feel a little sick." Uraraka mumbled. "Same here," Uru said. His enemy distracted in pain, Luke brought his Shoto saber, ignited it and fired it with the Force towards Harry. "All right," Tetsutetsu yelled out. "He still has his Shoto saber." Todoroki smirked. Harry recuperated only to find a short red lightsaber pierced through his heart. "Keidato!" The Luke voters roared in victory, the Harry voters grumbling and groaning in defeat, especially a certain blonde explosive teen. "Man, Harry did a surprisingly good job keeping Luke at a distance," Boomstick said. "Luke seems to be more of a physical combatant with his lightsaber, so Harry keeping him at a distance was smart," Mandalay noted. "He even took old Ben's advice on fighting on the high ground, or rather air," Boomstick continued. "But Luke fought smart and tried to finish Harry quickly with his Force persuasion," Wiz stated. "Huh, so that's what it's called," Shinso mumbled. "But Harry was able to resist thanks to a clemency. Then Luke used his other Force powers to stun and hinder Harry," Boomstick jumped in. "Like Force pushing Harry's wand and cloak away, destroy his firebolt, and Force choke Harry from casting spells. And while Luke can dodge the Avada Kedavra, the instantaneous Sectum Sempra caught him off guard," Wiz pointed out. "But using Statterpoint, Luke found an exploitable flaw. That famous lightning bolt scar," Boomstick said, "which stunned Harry enough to lose the battle. While having scars might make you look cooler, they also tend to be a weak spot." Todoroki and Izuku subconsciously touched their own scars, Shoto's right side of his face and Izuku's scars on his hand and arms. "I guess this battle wasn't much forced but rather scarring," Boomstick punned. The students and heroes groaned. "Okay, that's by far the worst one yet," Kuga yelled. "Get your pun game together, Boomstick. The winner is Luke Skywalker," Wiz announced. The students congratulated and apologized to Izuku and the fates of his counterparts, the green-haired teen thanking and claiming the apologies weren't necessary. His mind distracted once again with the voice of the first user in his head and what it tried to say. He was snapped from his thoughts when he heard Eri yell, "Accio happy." Izuku turned to Eri, who looked at him with an incurious look. "You looked sad and worried, Papa, so brought you happiness," Eri said. "Did it work?" Izuku looked surprised before smiling warmly. "Yes, it did, Eri," Izuku said as he rubbed Eri's head affectionately. "You always bring me happiness." "You too, Kuta." Eri smiled brightly while Kuta blushed before looking away, a small smile on the kid's face. The girls and pro-heroines, even secretly Maruko, once again descended into tears at the sweet sight, while the guys smiled / also broke down in tears at the sight. Asterisk sniff asterisk damn it. How many times sniff do we have to witness Midoriya being so sweet to those munchkins? Tetsu asked while sniffling and crying manly tears. Asterisk sniff asterisk I don't know. Kirishima responded in manly tears. Asterisk sniff asterisk but it's so manly and sweet, I can't complain. Sweet moment aside, I sure wish to have the schematics on that lightsaber. Melissa said. You read my mind, new best friend. May said as she rushed over to Melissa in the blink of an eye. Oh, how I would love to make one of those babies. It would be a dream come true. As if in response, the device started to beep. The group looked to it worryingly before the video paused and the device spoke. Package delivery incoming. Accept package. The group looked to Nizu for an answer. The rodent principal of UA thinking over before nodding. May pressed the OK button and the device started to glow. The device opened up a hole to reveal a camera lens that started to glow blue and shine a light. From that light, a stack of papers suddenly materialized and were placed on Melissa's lap. Melissa nervously picked up one scroll of paper, unravel and gasp in pure shock. What is it, Melissa? Izuku asked worried. It's blueprints. For building a lightsaber. Melissa revealed. The group was absolutely stunned. May's eyes widening so much that the students thought her eyes would pop out. She immediately grabbed on of the papers and inspected it, all the while laughing like a mad scientist that just created a monster. What have we done? The group all though in horror as they witnessed the pink-haired girl laugh maniacally. Suddenly, the device's lens flared up again, this time materializing something else. 5 tiny glowing crystals. One of them green, another blue, the third red, the fourth purple, and the final white. The group stared at these crystals in shock and awe. Izuku, Todoroki, Bakugo, Mirio, an airy feeling drawn to them like a moth to flame, and they felt somehow the crystals drawn to them. A case materialized and the crystals floated inside the case, which closed and landed in the pile of papers. The device spoke with, "Message received. Ask and you shall we receive. Have to sign off in a bit. Might need to explain to the Council of Ricks why I just messed with the rules. You will know what to do them when the time comes. See ya later and the Force be with you. Always." The group didn't know what kind of word could encapsulate their full shock and surprise, so they just wordlessly accepted this development and prayed that May wouldn't end up blowing up the school sky high when she inevitably worked on these new babies. Next time on Death Battle, Boomstick announced, drawing in the group's attention. The first fighter shown was a gorgeous woman in a blue, Chinese-style dress and dark leggings over powerful, sexy legs performing lightning-fast kicks and before performing a spinning kick. The second was an extremely attractive woman clad only in a barely form-fitting red and white kimono, her large breasts almost sticking out as she performed a few jabs and attacks. Mineta and Kaminari practically drooled at the sight, large blushes over their perverted grins. The guys, while modest and decent, weren't any better as they blushed hard at the fighter's stunning beauty. Even Bakugo and stone-cold-faced Todoroki blushed a bit. The male pros too tired looking away to distract themselves. Izuku too blushed madly but tried to distracting himself with their impressive fighting style. It failed miserably as Izuku blushed furiously at the blue dress woman's legging-clad thighs and the red kimono's dangling melons. The girls started feeling jealous and self-conscious over the two women's beauty and attractive features. Even the pro-heroines felt a tiny bit jealous. Miruko stared mostly at the woman with the great legs and smiled, now wanting to fight the woman and see who is the better leg fighter. Don't just sit there. Quickly play the next dash. Mineta and Kaminari yelled before they froze at the intimidating glares from Izuku Bakugo, and now an annoyed Todoroki. I mean take your time. Kaminari stuttered nervously, not wanting another beatdown. And no rush, we seek and wait. Right, Mineta. Why yeah, of C course. Mineta fearfully stuttered. W will be C cool and Q quiet. And no need to tie us up. With a final warning glare and nod at the two. Izuku nodded at May who played the next video.